Do you remember that wedding from a month ago? Yeah, like that one that you needed to start editing yesterday? But you also need to prep today for your wedding tomorrow, and you're leaving for your first vacation in forever on Monday. So what do? It seems that the only creative part of your edits are the excuses you're going to have to give your clients. We have the solution, Wedditor. Wedditor is a team of top wedding editors, project managers, and account coordinators that help us wedding filmmakers edit. They match the right editors with your style so you can spend your time where it matters most, on your business. Nick and I both use Wedditor, and we don't know how we would run our companies without them. It takes a team to build an amazing business, and you shouldn't try to do it all on your own. Head over to howtofilmweddings.com/Wedditor to help you free up your time so that you can focus on growing your brand. Be sure to use promo code HTFW for $50 off your first project. Wedditor, more than freelance, more than outsourcing.
My son calls me Deep Nuggets. No, he doesn't.
Is that true?
No, he doesn't.
Oh man, if you're not watching this on YouTube,
guys, I asked y'all
you
a
are
question.
missing out.
Hello and welcome to the How to Film Weddings podcast. My name is Nick Miller. Today I am joined by John Bunn. How you doing, John?
Nick, it is here. We have done it. Today, I don't know if you know or not, but today is the 1 year anniversary of the How to Film Weddings podcast.
It's crazy to think that this is episode 61, and in the last 52 weeks we have put together 61 episodes. It is our 1 year anniversary, and so we have decided to do something fun and something special. We actually brought in a different host for this podcast. Our good friend, Mr. Phil Danger Harbuck. He is kind of hosting, but it's me and John, and we brought in Matt Johnson and Eric Floberg, some of our favorite people that we've gotten to hang out on the podcast over the last year, and we just wanted to kind of have a little conversation. You know, Philip asked us some questions, that were kind of wedding related, and some that were just kind of fun personal stuff. So it was a really great experience, a fun thing to do that wasn't so serious. It's not really business focused necessarily, but, it was really fun for us to just hang out, and you can kind of peek into our lives and our businesses and that kind of stuff. Anything else do you want to say? Or do we just jump in?
I mean, we can jump in. That sounds good to me.
Okay, so this is the special 1 year episode of the How to Film Weddings podcast.
This is the 1 year anniversary of the How to Film Weddings podcast. My name is Philip Danger. I was on the podcast episode 2?
Four.
Episode okay.
4.
All right. It was pretty
First
early on.
guest.
And we have a panel of talent here today that I have looking before me. We have our creators, John Bunn and Nick Miller. And we have... Oh, do they deserve a clap?
Little.
Let's do 1 year. Let's put in like a fake 1 year. This is 1 year. This is a big thing. We have also joining us Matt Johnson out of Austin, Texas, and Eric Floberg from Chicago, Illinois. So an interesting note about when I met Eric. I met him at Venture in New Mexico, and he was shooting a spot with a Mustang, correct?
Yeah. Well, I think I was modeling in that one. They asked me to model an hour before.
But you were driving it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was asked to return that car to the airport rental.
Oh, that. Yeah, my rental car.
The following day. Yeah, the rental car that we were shooting. And I ripped the entire bumper off that car.
I remember this.
Yeah, it was at the top of the hill. It was the top of the hill in New Mexico, and I just completely ripped the entire thing off and had to put the whole bumper back on to return it.
And you didn't say anything to them?
To Kaylin and Christy, no. I think I just told them this the last time I was in Denver. But the car rental company, absolutely not.
Yeah, I was wondering why I got a $400 charge.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Always.
I'm kidding. You got really red for a second, didn't you?
No, I already talked to Kaylin. I was like, you guys never heard anything, right? We were all good with that car rental? They were like, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Great. All right. Yeah. But yeah, John and Nick, 1 year of doing this podcast. I'm going to kick it to both of y'all for a second and just say, what's probably the top thing you've learned from running a podcast for an entire year? John, I'll start with you.
So I think for me, 1 year, this is kind of crazy, but like 1 year in, a year ago today, Nick and I were like recording the first podcast, and it was like, will anybody actually listen to this? Will anybody like really take us seriously? Kind of a scary putting yourself out there. So my answer is kind of I'm a lot less scared to put myself out there. And then on the other side of that is just how welcoming and open the community has been. I mean, people like Matt Johnson have been on our podcast. You know what I mean? So like people wrapping their arms around the community, and like that side of it to me has been way better than I could have ever imagined. Like the new friends that we've made, the relationships, the doors it's opened, all that kind of stuff. So that's what still blows my mind when Nick and I talk. It's just like, how are all these people saying yes to being on our podcast? Do they know that we're just two dorks? Like, and so that's the biggest thing I've learned is like putting myself out there, being okay with not knowing everything, and then just that community side of it has really blown me away.
We're all just desperate for fame. Anything that we can get, I'll take the smallest podcast. That's fine. I'm down.
That means a lot coming from you, Matt. Like it really does.
Oh.
I mean,
Guys, we're gonna need new stickers. The world's smallest podcast.
And they're so small that you literally can't see them. It's just like a little, yeah. One thing that I have really appreciated is the Facebook community specifically that has emerged from this, and I think that having faces on it has helped people like know and understand kind of what we want and desire for that. The let's be positive, the let's not tear down, the let's create a space where people that are less experienced can ask questions and not feel like ripped apart or feel really stupid because they just don't know. And we've all asked those questions at some point. So I think that's one of the things that I'm really, really proud of is this space that we have created. And John and I have gotten questions like, how did you do that? Like, what's your special sauce? What? And we're like, just doing it and being positive and continue to move forward with that. And then something that I, the creative in me, I have always been like, I need to make this thing that I'm working on as creative or as perfect as possible. And John is more on the end of done is better than perfect, at least for this kind of stuff. And so I have, with the creating of editing sort of the stuff for our podcast, me leaning more into that, hey, let's just get this done. That's really important. Rather than it being
I'd like
perfect.
to just jump back in there so I don't look stupid and just say done well is better than like extra well done. Like, it has to be good enough. It has to be great. But yes, okay.
Yes. I'm not saying done as in, hey, let's just slap it together. I mean, it's edited and it's good, but I want to tweak it. But he's like, dude, don't worry about it. It's not worth your time.
So John's been lowering the bar of the podcast. That's
it would be so much better if he weren't involved.
Okay. And we would have 4 episodes already done.
We would probably have about 4 instead of 60. Yeah.
Guys, this is a very revealing episode so far. Eric, I'm going to throw it to you and get your opinion because like collaboration in this industry is so crazy awesome. And technically, every podcast they have someone on is a collaboration. But that John and Nick have come in at a good time of the industry to be able to have this platform and to be able to have so many crazy talented people on there, men and women. And I don't know, that's pretty awesome. You want to chime in? Give me a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. The whole, I know Matt could speak to this as well, the whole side of YouTube kind of mixing into doing what we do while filming weddings is kind of the same direct correlation of being able to collaborate with people. And I know Matt doesn't do collabs very much at all. Have you ever done one?
I've done a bit.
Yeah.
Some of it has to do with being in Texas where you're at, you know? And it's like, who's here? Oh, okay. So, I mean, I live next to Phil, but nobody wants to hang out with him, you know? So it's tough to make things work.
I've been able to connect with, the reason I started YouTube is because my friends Daniel and Rachel with Mango Street, they just kind of like pushed me to try to do it. And so in the same sentiment, I know a lot of people are doing the same thing in the wedding world with making connections and collaborations, and that's where a lot of like good referrals happen. But really, it takes being on a podcast, it takes going to a workshop, it takes like actual face-to-face time. I know I went back to a workshop called Workshop because I'm a photographer as well, as a wedding photography workshop in Brooklyn. They did it for the past 3 years. The first time I went, I was just kind of fish out of water, brand new to like nearing doing it full time, and met tons of really established, like well-known people in the industry, but was able to keep some of those relationships up. And a lot of those have been really fruitful in the industry to keep up with. And I even like collaborated with my friend Ben, who's a really awesome wedding photographer, on a YouTube video we did back in June. Just making those kinds of connections are awesome, because then it's also really great to make those connections in the wedding space as well. Like if he's ever to refer me out, he actually officiated a wedding I shot in June, which was kind of crazy. I just released that film today. But yeah, his big old beard is in there. It's like he's nearing your guys. I don't know. He's past. No, he's not past Matt. No.
What
I hope not.
Are you talking about how old we are?
You need gray in yours.
I think he's talking about beard length.
I have gray in mine. Oh,
there you go. There you go, Nick.
Guys, I've got
I'm
nothing.
old, so
Me and John, we're baby-faced.
I shaved yesterday, and I don't even have stubble yet.
I shaved this morning. No, I didn't.
This is like 14 years of growth right here.
I feel like this part of the podcast is really good for the people listening.
Yeah.
Because they get to hear us dudes talk about the fact that we have a beard or not, and they can't even see us. Some of them don't even know. So just picture me with a long,
can
full
imagine
beard.
Matt Johnson's beard.
Just imagine a homeless man and like kind of Santa, and then you got it. That's it.
A homeless Santa.
Yeah.
Got it.
Matt, is there anything you want to chime in with on the starting round?
I would say to start off, this thing having been a year, I am very proud of what you guys have been able to create and accomplish, and I applaud you on going with a very direct route for the title of the podcast, of the group. How to Film Weddings, very on the nose, very surprising nobody else took that, but I think that there was definitely a trend for a while with, first you have Wedding Film School, then you have Wedding Film University, then you have Wedding Film Community College, Wedding Film bachelor degree in associate. You know, it just keeps going. So very glad, very proud of all that's come together here.
All right, Phil, we got him to kind of talk good about us. So do we want to boot them off the podcast now? Or
I don't know what else you want from me here. This is the moderator here, you know.
That was like a couple good gems for Blake. So
Do my best.
But no, connections are crazy, and it's crazy, John, how I got to know Nick because of that. Y'all met Blake through me, who now edits all of y'all's stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And y'all have had him out. We've met up. It's insane once you start stepping out into meeting other videographers, into meeting other creatives, that it's like those spider webs just keep going, and all of a sudden you know people across the entire world.
And then you got a spider infestation.
It was crazy just being.
And they're.
I mean, I'm no Matt Johnson with spider infestations, but just being in Italy and meeting Fabio, he wanted to meet and shoot with me, and like knew us from the podcast, and was like visibly so excited to get to connect, and like this whole thing, this whole podcast to me has just made, it's like, oh yeah, Eric's in Chicago. That's so close, even though that's like a 10-hour drive for me or whatever. But the world just seems so much smaller and more connected. And like one of the reasons why Nick and I really wanted to do this is because like we shoot weddings, we're kind of in our dungeons, we shoot on the weekends and see people and get dressed up, and then we're in, if you're Eric, you're in yoga pants during the week and sitting on your couch, your sweatpants, editing. No, I'm kidding. But like we wanted a place that was a safe place for like community. And to be able to turn on a podcast and listen to it while you're editing, or to just be able to like know that there are other people going through what you're going through. We've stumbled upon some of the subjects of just like mental health and realizing it like, wow, I was depressed this year, at this time, and my friend was depressed over here, and just like talking about like running a business and the things that all come along with it and everything. And so we just wanted a place for people to be real, not be jerks to each other, and to help each other get better. And it's like far exceeded anything that we could have thought in the first 52 weeks of doing this. So it's like made the world so much smaller and made me realize that I really wish I would have like done something to be connecting with others way sooner. Like I was always so afraid I wasn't good enough yet to like put myself out there. And we're all just on a different, rung of the ladder. And so it's really made me like not regret, but wish that I would have just been more vulnerable quicker with the community. That way we could have started building something like this. That's all.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. I like what you said. I'll say, yep.
I said we're on different rungs of the ladder when you invited me on this podcast.
Stuck with him.
He did.
For a year.
It stuck with him for a year. No, but that's a pretty good testament to just sometimes it's just one foot in front of the other. Like you guys literally just started out and it's just one podcast after the next and it just builds and builds and builds. So that's incredible.
That's another thing that we've said on our podcast, quite a bit, is that consistency compounds. And if you're just consistent for long enough over time, like it just continues to grow and you continue to see the fruit. And that's for really anything that you do, right? You do it time in and time out, over a long enough time, and you'll start seeing the positive effects of just being consistent.
Matt, are they talking about the crock pot method? Is that?
I think it's the slow cooker method.
Oh, the slow cooker. Okay.
The sous vide method.
I didn't get that one patented.
Food preparation.
You just had to bring in barbecue, didn't you?
Oh, I love barbecue.
Barbecue.
You guys have those new T-shirts too. Do people recognize y'all on the street? Do they like, oh look, it's Deep Nuggets?
So it's become part of my life and Nick's life.
My son calls me Deep Nuggets. No, he doesn't.
Is that true?
No, he doesn't.
Oh man, if you're not watching this on YouTube,
I asked y'all
you
a
are
question.
missing out.
Do y'all get recognized on the street?
No. Well, no, I don't. Not yet. I'm not Matt Johnson.
Y'all don't
one
all
time
eat out of crock pots? That's not. Are we sponsored yet? Is that a? No.
Not by
We're working
Crock-Pot.
on official crock pot. Yes, they
This is just a normal meal
I
for
don't
me.
know.
You guys don't eat cereal out of a crock pot? Everything. It's crock pot everything, guys. That is the process that wins. That's what I learned from this podcast.
Is there a bowl in that crock pot?
Guys,
Appreciate
safety.
the
I
first.
told him.
This is cinema 101.
I told him
is a
30
lie.
minutes before this thing. I said, no, if you got to go hardcore, because he's like, yeah, I got this crock pot, bro. I'm like, no, you got to fill that thing up with milk, man. You go all the way. Like, you waste like 2
You got milk
gallons
in there.
on that thing. Like, this is my joke. I'm invested. So that's okay.
Oh man.
I couldn't go that
Oh, the
far.
crock pot. Should we talk about the crock pot? Because there's a lot of people that are like, what the heck is this crock pot?
So yeah, we just
For all you're speaking about all our newcomers to the show.
right.
Yeah,
So we
they're like,
just
what the heck?
talked about our merch that we have, because we have T-shirts and stickers and mugs and all this kind of stuff, and we're giving. Well, the contest will be over by the time this drops, but we gave away a T-shirt, and the first line says crock pots. And we get so many comments like, what's a crock pot? So I get the sticky buns and the deep nuggets, but what's the crock pot? And John was really hard on that in probably the first 10 or 15 episodes, but it's kind of maybe died a little bit. So John, why don't you
It's
talk
just still
about
slow
that?
cooking.
Or let's do this. Let's do this. Eric, what is your impression of what the crock pot means?
Is this where it gets revealed that I don't listen to the podcast really regularly?
Way to put Eric on the spot.
No, I know.
Great job co-hosting.
I know what it
101.
means. I know
Eric's
what it
like,
means.
I've heard my episode, but like, wait, other people are on?
Eric immediately
crap,
started
man.
sweating.
Yeah, right. No, the whole crockpot, and I agree with this sentiment. The whole crockpot method of building your business slowly instead of a microwave, instead of something that goes really quick. Building it slow over time, dedication, consistency, finding small wins, and slow growth. Like, really, that's been the testament of how I've built everything I've done. And I think that's really what most people can grasp onto. Some people can do the microwave thing. Like, they're just good at it. They find ways to make it happen quickly. But the majority of people just can't do that. And so kind of the surefire way to do it is to do that crockpot method where you're just hitting the pavement all the time, being consistent, and doing what you need to do to have slow growth. Did I do it right? Did I pass?
Yeah, that you listened to all the episodes. You did it.
It was brilliant.
I see it.
Matt's clapping.
I'm so glad we sent him that script. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh God. Okay. Hold on. It's fine. We're good. We know the time suck that is searching for the perfect song for your wedding film. MusicBed has spent years collaborating with artists, bands, and composers to make it easier than ever for anyone to find the right song for their video.
With amazing artists like Chapters, Tony Anderson, and The Light, The Heat, MusicBed is the best place for wedding videographers to get licensed music.
Their subscription service was a life changer for me, especially since all of their subscription music is pre-cleared for every social media platform: Facebook, Instagram, Love Stories TV, and my personal favorite, YouTube, all pre-cleared.
And if you are interested in a free month of a MusicBed wedding subscription, head over to howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed. When you sign up, use the promo code HTFW and you will get your first month for free.
I actually am waiting on the crockpot cease and desist order from that brand because, I mean, if you were just like a slow cooker, like, oh, that's okay, but like, you're actually like, it's a crock pot, and I'm just
free
waiting
advertising.
on them. I'm waiting on them to come in and swing the band hammer and be like, hey, we're not affiliated.
Can I be honest?
Can you stop?
My honesty is that I hope that they do that because that's even a better story for me. Because
Seriously.
we'll just like call it Pock Krots.
yeah, it
felt weird all of a sudden there.
legitimizes.
Let's not call it that.
legitimizes them. It legitimizes the podcast, Matt.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Crockpot, please send us a cease and desist
I went with
letter.
Phil here and all. Like, I have a Calphalon brand, which I think if
What
you
is
really
that?
want to get it, it's arguably as good or better than a crockpot brand. So if you guys want to change the T-shirt, Calphalon Sticky Buns Deep Nuggets, I think there's a lot of
Okay,
opportunity here.
This
for
might be an episode
branding.
that you need to listen to on YouTube or watch on YouTube. I mean, definitely.
Me and Matt
We
do
have-
our best work visually, so yes.
is true.
We have, Nick, as of today, we have almost 1% as many followers as Matt Johnson.
My,
1%.
What excites me is that you guys have people in your group that I'm sure don't actually know that there's a podcast. That are just like, what? I just joined.
true.
Like, I want to learn how to film weddings. Like, wait, I could listen to things? What? Like, yeah, it's a thing. This is how we started. Oh, okay.
A couple of weeks ago, someone commented and they were like, "Hey, what are some good podcast recommendations?" Like 100% serious. And John and I were like, "This one," and they were like, "Oh, cool!" Like they had no clue.
The guy
So,
was
yeah, I'm sure.
literally like, "This is awesome! I can't. Thanks for sharing." I was like, "It's the podcast. It's like started episode 1. Like it's good." It was so funny.
John's just sitting in his office like, this one right here.
This is why we're doing
How
this.
did you get here?
Speaking of the Facebook group, I didn't want to do a Facebook group for the longest time.
He did,
What a
Nick.
fool.
Yeah, like John was like very anti Facebook, just because, and we get that. You know, there's so many, whatever thing you're into, there are so many different groups that deal with that. And so, you know, I think I was a part of 4 or 5 or 6 wedding video ones, and John and I didn't want to start one unless we had a purpose. And I can't remember what it was. Do you remember what it was whenever something came up and I was like, okay, I think it's time for a Facebook group? Do you remember what that was?
It was like April, and I think that like we just didn't want to be always like, we didn't want to promote or talk about like things. I think we were maybe crowdsourcing a live Q&A or something, and it was like, man, I don't want to do this in someone else's group. And honestly, we just didn't want to, like, the video groups that we had seen have all been so just harsh and sharp, and like I didn't want to create another place for people to like bash each other. And so that was why I kept holding off. And then like the first month we had like 400 people, and then like by, you know, now at recording it's 4,000, and it's like, if somebody says something crazy in the group, it's like the wolves come out and like, hey, don't be crazy, don't be an idiot. You know, if Dwight Schrute, if an idiot would do this thing, don't do that thing, you know. And so that's kind of how it feels in the group. And so like, I don't know, I held off for a long time because I just didn't want to like step on people's toes, and I didn't want to be creating something that I didn't feel like added value. So finally, after like 6 months of Nick saying, hey, we should do a Facebook group, I was like, okay, we can give it a try. And that's when I feel like it really started to go zoom. So we owe it all to Nick. Thanks, Nick.
You're welcome.
It was a pretty good...
And that one time that Matt gave us a shout out on his live video review.
Live
like we got like 250 ads in like a 6-hour period.
That was an actual video I made, I think. And it was like in the video, I'm like, you know, just join the How to Film Weddings group and do stuff on there. You know, ask them for help. Like throwing you guys partially like under the bus a little bit, like just go on there and post things and harass them. Like, oh crap, dang it.
And then all of a sudden our inbox of requests started flooding, and we were like, guys, what happened? We didn't release anything.
Yeah.
We added like I think it was like 1,000 or 1,200 members in like a month, I think so. The month he released that video. So thanks, Matt. We owe it all to you. Or we could owe it to Eric, because I think he's been listening since episode 1. Like, I think he's listened faithfully to every single episode. So
I hear whenever he's doing his runs, he's jogging, he's just got it in his headphones. He's like, yeah, this is great. This is motivation. Like, the reason he's doing his marathon is because of this podcast.
Yeah. Running my marathon, and I'm actually sponsored by Crock-Pot now, so thanks, guys.
That's great.
He has to carry one.
You're welcome.
You have to carry one.
He runs with one.
Do you wear it as like a helmet?
In his pouch. Yeah.
But we have stipulations for your run. No, the Facebook group, I was always a huge fan of the Facebook group, John. And yeah, building that, you guys have really done an awesome thing of like being able to create a community in the hardest place there is to create a community, which is online. Because like you're not in person. So I know even you guys have had meetups now, and Nick, you've been traveled and thrown together meetups where you come across other people and they get to, you know, spend time and connect. But I wanted to throw the next question out to all you guys, and I'm going to start with Matt. But in that aspect then, like, what was like the first event or the first person that you guys connected with in the wedding community and were like, this industry is awesome? Like that first, do you remember like it was this or it was here?
Oh man, I've been doing weddings for such a long time here. That's the tough part, you know. But thinking back here, I've had some really great second shooters. I'll say that I kind of trained and like learned from, and that's been really great. I'm trying to think about like an actual. Why'd you ask me first? Oh man,
kick it to me. I have an answer.
Eric,
go.
Yeah, so the guy I mentioned earlier, Benj, I was a huge Benj Heisch fanboy. He's a photographer based out of Seattle, and I saw a blog post by him back in 2011 sitting in my college dorm, and I was just getting into video with a DSLR. I was interested in photography, and when I saw his photography, I was like, man, this is definitely something I'm interested in. And back then, like, I didn't even have Instagram, didn't even have a smartphone. I was just following his blog and anything he posted on Facebook, and just freaked out every time he posted anything. Loved it, was obsessed with it. And so that just kind of continued all the way up until 2016, I think, is when the first time I went to workshop in Brooklyn. That was the first workshop I had ever gone to. My first experience with dealing with like these Instagram wedding superstars, and actually like developing a real relationship with Benj and growing my own business has been something that's super substantial. But he was one person that really got me stoked about doing the whole wedding thing. And I was never really like heavily influenced by anybody in the video realm, because I was so heavily influenced by him and a few other people in the photo side that I just kind of did my own thing on video for a while. It wasn't until I got to Chicago where I met some of the local people here. I'm thinking specifically my friends Dan and Aaron, who own a company called Kling and Peck, and they're out in the suburbs of Chicago. They're the ones that like influenced me to stop doing feature length edits and to do like 3 to 5 minute montages and sell them for more money. And once that changed, that just totally changed everything of how I did everything on the video side. I started following people like White and Reverie, started following people like Josh from A Little Long Distance, and got really stoked about those kinds of edits, and just taking things more seriously, taking things to the next level. Yeah, a lot of other people influenced me. I love Spielberg, and E.T. is my favorite film ever, and I draw tons of inspiration from stuff like that. But I also love YouTube and following other YouTubers and finding different ways that I can incorporate different ways to grow my business and make things different and exciting.
Well, thanks, Eric. I just had to cross 2 questions off my lightning round list.
Oh, crap.
Whoops, sorry.
Okay,
Yeah, I went for a while there. My bad.
I got one for you now here, though. I got you.
Favorite movie,
favorite
favorite director? All right, we're done. Eric's out.
Whoops.
Go, Matt.
I will tell you that I made a review of the DJI Ronin M back in 2016, I want to say. And I knew at the time that there was this wedding film company, White and Reverie, that used the Ronin M. And I was like, they're crazy for doing that. And I actually say in the video, like, hey, there's people that use this thing at weddings. I wouldn't do it, but they do it, and they claim that they know how to do it really well. And I never met Kaylin or Christine, didn't know them really at all. I'd watched some of their wedding films, and that was it. But I gave them like a shout out in this video, and then I remember that Kaylin, I think he commented back or something like that, like, oh, thanks for the shout out or something like that, you know, and then that sort of started sort of like, oh, we're aware of each other. Oh, cool. And then finally, Rachel and I were traveling through Denver on a flight, and so we met up with them over burgers and really hit it off well with them. And then, you know, the next year, they're like, you want to come to our workshop? And all this sort of stuff has happened. And now they're like really good friends. And it all happened because I made a random like shout out to them in a YouTube video, and now they're like, oh, cool, what's up? And it's great. So great.
But the intersection of communities for me as well is like, since I started doing YouTube, I think that's how like Kaylin and Christine somehow found my channel. It might've been through Danielle and Rachel, because they made a connection. They shot their wedding. And then I met Matt and subsequently John and Phil, like through White and Reverie's workshop. And so now all these connections are happening, and we all know each other now. And I just don't feel like that didn't really exist before 2016, I don't think, at least in this industry. It was only in person through workshops and stuff. And I guess that's kind of how we did it. But now things like this podcast exist and these YouTube channels exist. There's all these points of intersection where we're like meeting each other online all the time. Like you said, John said, it feels like the world just shrinks so much when that happens. And we feel so much closer to each other than we actually are locationally.
Yeah.
100%.
Someone say something.
Nick just asked me if everyone froze, but everybody's moving
I'm back
for me.
now. I'm back now.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Okay.
Back, baby.
Okay, it was when Matt was talking. John, did you say something?
No, Eric was Eric said something, but I do have something to add.
Okay,
but well, you're talking about like connections, and I think that like as the human race, we are searching for that connection, right? I mean, we want to be connected to others. And like, I started way back in 2007, and the first time I went anywhere to connect with a wedding filmmaker about anything was 2016. And so like what Eric is saying, it's like, whoa, 2016. But like, I went to InFocus and I met Phil, I met Craig Adams, I met a bunch of people there, and that I still connect with and communicate with, and like was exposed to wedding film school because of Craig, and then like different things that were going on. It's like, oh, who's this Matt Johnson guy? And like seeing different people, and like the people that are new in this industry don't realize that like a lot of us, when we got going, like Instagram didn't exist yet. Like I'm sounding like an old dad or whatever, but it was like Instagram came out and I was like, crap, we have to do like another thing for our wedding business. We've already done MySpace and we've already done blogs, and so now we're doing Facebook, and and so
are you on TikTok yet?
No, but I'm gonna probably be there. Gary Vee tells me I need to be.
That's where the kids are.
Like 2000. That is where the kids are. Hopefully, our wedding films don't end up on TikTok. Oh my gosh.
They totally are. Just gonna be us being like, oh.
Wait.
Oh, check my wedding film. Oh.
But like the idea that I think that like I wanted to get out there before the TikTok is that like making those connections with those people have not only made the world smaller, they have made it where I am so much better at what I'm doing as a business person, as a husband that owns a business, as a father that owns a business, and like making these connections. And like whether it's, making connections with Matt Johnson or Eric or me or, or Nick or Phil, it's not that, it's like making connections with people that are similar to you. And that's where it was like we wanted to create this platform that's just a safe place for you to say, yeah, I'm from Toledo, Ohio, and I am new, and I don't know anything, and like not get just ripped to shreds for not knowing things. And so like making that community so much smaller, like from 2016 till now, like my business has skyrocketed because of those relationships. And it's just like, I wish I would have done that beforehand. So like that was the whole idea behind all this How to Film Wedding stuff, was like, we just want to create that place for the human kind to connect with each other here, these wedding filmmakers to connect with each other. So hopefully that's kind of what the people listening feel. They feel connected to us, and they feel like they can, reach out in our Facebook group and we'll answer questions and things like that, because that just didn't exist 10 years ago. Yeah.
The thing that I was going to say is kind of an accumulation of both what John and Matt were saying. I did a mentorship with David from forestry, and then with the first venture, when it came out, I saw that David and Harmony were going to be there, so we signed up to go to meet them. We wanted to hang out with them. And then from, doing that, one of the things that, I thought was, I want to start, uploading some kind of videos on my YouTube channel, some more education kind of stuff. And I made this video on how to remove the warp stabilizer wobble. John saw it and was like, hey, come hang out with me at a wedding. And then from that, then How to Film Weddings all started together, because John was like, I've wanted to get into education, but like the set kind of stuff like that, like I couldn't get it to look right. But Nick, what you did is what I want my stuff to look like. So then we just kind of started talking and went round and round about what it would look like for a while. And then we finally just kind of landed on the YouTube channel to start with. And when that wasn't picking up steam, they're like, let's start a podcast. And so, it all came back to me putting myself out there for a mentorship to learn from something. And if I wouldn't have done that initially, then like this path that my life has gone on since then might not have panned out this way.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy how like you meet, like as that world shrinks, you're meeting so many other like-minded creatives, and then it just works itself into like who you see on trips, when you're in town, who you're grabbing dinner with, who you're having coffee with, like who you're having phone calls, or like when you're struggling, who you're like. And that is a huge like encouragement that John and Nick, you guys give, is like getting out and like meeting other people and working with other people. And second shooting, or like collaborating, sending references to other people, and that just builds that like family. I mean, next month I've got 2 trips to Phoenix and to New York City, and it's like I'm meeting all like friends that I've known in the industry that I'm visiting. And
That's awesome.
It's crazy that it's like anywhere I'm going now, I'm like, wait, I know someone in this town. Wait, I know someone in this city. Wait, I have a layover here. I can go grab lunch with this person. It's like it shrinks it to where like, yeah, there's somewhere everywhere, and like that's y'all's big encouragement is building that community. And like realizing the struggles you go through as entrepreneurs, as business owners, sometimes as solo business owners. We don't always have spouses or partners that work with us. Like that makes you feel so alone. Like any struggle, or like I know John, you and Nick have both been very honest about like low times financially, struggles y'all have gone through, things like that. And this podcast, I think, has been huge, even in this past year, to see people rally behind that type of authenticity, and especially in the Facebook group too, of people coming in and posting very like vulnerable posts about struggles they're going through, and seeing that community really like rally around them and like connect with them in that way. I mean, and you guys are great at that.
Thanks.
So thank you. The next question is a quick one. I don't need 3-minute answers. I'm going to give y'all like 30 seconds. But there's always a ton of newcomers into our group and who listen to the podcast as well. So I know for some of you guys, y'all started so long ago, but can you think of one of probably the biggest lies you told yourself when you started full-time into weddings or into the creative world as well? Because it's like, I know we have such a problem with like imposter syndrome. Like, what was that lie that you were just like, I told myself this, a couple years later I learned this, and I never should have believed that about the business, yourself, whatever. But keep your answers short, Eric.
I know one. If it's okay if I speak up, I feel like I haven't talked enough. Kidding. Whenever I got going, I was under the impression that like you couldn't show a weakness, like, and was afraid to tell my wife that I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I don't know how we're gonna pay our bills. And then amongst other wedding vendors in town, like just acting like I knew it all. Like that was the lie I told myself. Like I have an advertising and marketing degree. I can run this business. I know what I'm doing. So I don't need anybody's help. I'll figure this out. I'll just bulldoze through things, and if I mess up, I'll fix it as I go along. And so like I didn't think that I could be vulnerable or show any type of weakness at all, or people would see that I was a fake and not want to hire me. Those 34 seconds.
Oh, you timed it?
Did you time that?
Oops.
No.
Yeah, he
Okay.
had a stopwatch.
Yeah. The one that I have really picked up lately that I wish I would have earlier is that I don't have to do everything. You know, there are people that can take care of things on your behalf for you. You know, your bookkeeping is probably one of the first things that many of us are like, okay, someone else take care of this. But even when it comes down to, you know, the correspondence that you do, or the emailing, or some of you, it's like the actual shooting on the wedding day. Like, that's not what you like to do. You like to edit. So just having that idea, it's my business, so therefore I have to do absolutely everything.
Yeah, it's good.
I have 2 quick ones. One is, and this is always a struggle for me, just every time raising prices, always feeling like it's insane, whatever jump it is, thinking no one's going to pay this. As soon as I do it, like 2 or 3 people do it and they pay it. And you're like, okay. That's just a constant struggle. I know everybody deals with that. But I've become more comfortable with that recently. And then the second is that I think I could do more than I really can. And I think once you start seeing success in your business, you just start taking on more and more and more, and booking more and more dates, and constantly taking on just a bigger workload. And then it ends up making you feel burned out, and then you're not able to accomplish things the way you want to. And so just finding that balance of making sure that you're not taking on too much, and then delegating sometimes.
It's good.
So tell me, what CRM do you use? If you're not sure or you don't know what a CRM is, I'm about to save you a lot of time and therefore money. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. Basically, a CRM is an online service that helps you better serve your clients. HoneyBook is both mine and John's CRM of choice. We absolutely love it. HoneyBook allows us to do all of our correspondence, contracts, and payments all in one place. One of the features that I love is the automated workflow. We all have emails that we send out to all of our clients, right? At 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, the week of. All of us do it. Automated workflows make it so that those emails can go out automatically. Since I don't have to take time to, 1, remember to send them out, and 2, to write them, I save time and make more money by working more efficiently. Are you interested in saving time on the business side of things? Go to howtofilmweddings.com/honeybook for a free 1-week trial. Also, because the Honeybooks really like me and John, we can give you $200 off of your first year, and that also comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Go to howtofilmweddings.com/honeybook to start saving lots of time in your business. Oh yeah, legally I have to tell you that John and I are affiliates of HoneyBook.
I'll say for me, biggest issue that I had really starting out was thinking that all I needed to do to get better was just focus on buying more gear. And, if I just get a slider, this wedding film's going to be amazing. Oh, that glide cam. Oh, this wedding is so good. And it's just the drone just constantly chasing the next piece of gear without realizing that a focus on the couple and who they are, that's what's really going to keep you engaged and keep you interested. In one of the reasons I'm still filming weddings 9 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I think like one of the biggest for me was like just knowing that I can take a break, and I didn't have such pressure to like perform from either my clients or like to be constantly booking, and just that it's like, especially with social media and us having to be content creators, that I could just go, no, I'm not feeling like it this week, or I'm not feeling like it this month, and that being okay. Mm-hmm. And like that, like John, I mean, both you and like Nick, you and Jen, like you have both been like huge advocates of like mental health as well. And like, that's such a thing that is under, like, it's just not being talked about as much as it should be, especially with careers like ours. We just don't get enough people going, take a break, like listen to your body, listen to your mind. Like, I mean, we're all married, like spend time with your partner. Like if that's what the focus needs to be on. Cause like this year we took a couple months off. Like we were just feeling it rough, and we'd been working for so long. Like we weren't posting on social media. We weren't like, taking trips. And so for that to just be okay, for it to be like, hey, you can take a break, you can pause, like you're not in a machine that keeps rolling, and but anyway, I think that would probably be my takeaway. And that's what I appreciate again from you guys. Really, this is just a whole like me thanking you guys for a year of podcasts. Like it just keeps coming back to that.
I love it. That's what we brought them on.
This community that you guys have built is an incredibly powerful community, and I really like the progress that y'all are making on the podcast and in the Facebook community.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to move to a lightning round, and we're going to start with what?
I said okay.
Oh, I thought you had something to say. We're going to start with Nick's like, all right, let's do this. Your favorite Taylor Swift song?
Who's Taylor Swift?
Oh my gosh. It's a code read error, too many to name.
John, come on.
It's not lightning. I can't lightning that. I like pretty much everything she's done ever. That's what I like.
Okay.
I can't help myself. She's just really good.
Yeah. Nick?
I can't even name a title of a single one. I mean, like, I'm sure I would know it if I heard it on the radio, but I don't know the titles of any of her songs.
There's the answer I was looking for.
Am I allowed to have multiple? Is that okay? Because I like the music video from You Belong With Me, which I really like the storytelling aspect of it, of like the high school love. It's just so sweet. But at the same time, like, if I'm at a wedding, like I really want Shake It Off to be playing, and I'm just out there like, shaking it myself in that way. So I got multiple.
I'm done with that.
Yeah, I'm with Nick. But the only thing that came to my head was Bad Blood, but I just don't even like that song. So
I think Shake It Off is the only
you
one I
guys
can
are
remember.
missing out.
Shake It Off's fine.
Played at every wedding. But the kids love Shake It Off. They're out there on the dance floor too.
Kids
I'm with
are.
him.
Yeah. In-N-Out versus Whataburger.
Whataburger,
In-N-Out.
for sure.
Does Eric? Do you have either of those options in Chicago?
I have neither, but In-N-Out's so much better. I've had Whataburger one time, and I was like, this is worse than Burger King.
You messed up. You had the wrong Whataburger.
I guess. I don't know. It was wicked bad.
I've been to both multiple times, and Whataburger by far.
Do you even do animal style at In-N-Out?
Yeah, well, yes, I've tried it. It's not as good as Whataburger. It's pretty good. It's not as good.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
Is
I
it
want to know
bad
what
that
Matt
I
Johnson
wanna-
has to say about
I
this.
really want a hybrid of the two because I like the basic animal style burger from In-N-Out, but their fries suck, and Whataburger's fries are better, and Whataburger has spicy ketchup. So, in a perfect world, I
That's the
need
difference.
In-N-Out next to Whataburger, where I can get my burger there, and I can get my fries and all my accessories, my honey butter chicken biscuit, my shake, everything like that. Whataburger, then it's all okay.
You see what Matt did there, though? He made nobody mad.
Yeah.
Politics, my
King
friend.
of that.
Politics.
And he made
That's
you
your
want
future.
both of their meals.
I want both now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is
Mac,
what I want now.
PC, both. Maxi. Wait.
Hey, here in Texas, we have both.
I really don't know what just happened.
John,
Where's John?
John falling off the chair. That was my goal of this episode. I was like, something needs to make
Nothing
John
happened.
fall out of his chair.
It's happened.
Okay.
Matt.
Favorite movie? I mean, we've already got that from you, Eric, right? Favorite movie, favorite director.
Yeah.
Favorite movie? Jurassic Park, the original. Favorite director? J.J. Abrams.
Chris Nolan for sure. I'm just is a trilogy. Does that count? Dark Knight trilogy. Does that count?
Sure.
That's where I'm gonna go. Because it's based in Chicago. Not really.
Yeah.
Shot there.
Favorite movie, The Last Starfighter. Favorite director, Christopher Nolan. I think. Yeah. That's good.
There's a lot of Chris
My
Nolan.
close second. My close second to E.T. is La La Land, and I love Damien Chazelle.
Okay.
Damien.
I like his answers.
On a road trip, who drives? You or your wife?
For the first 10 years of our marriage, I drove everywhere. Because when I grew up, that's how my parents were. Like, my dad drove and my mom sit there. And every time she was like, let me drive, my dad would be like, no. But that's because my dad follows the law and he doesn't speed a little bit. And my mom is an easy 5 to 7 over everywhere she goes. And he just couldn't handle that. So it took me 10 years into my marriage before I realized, hey, my wife has a license and she's a competent driver. Let's let her drive so I can relax. So now whenever we take long drives, we always split it up and it's great.
John?
Anybody else want to go?
Yeah, I was wondering what was
just
going
trying
on
to-
there.
I'll
But,
tell-
I'll
John's
you
like,
that
John's like, we don't take trips. We don't drive.
We don't
places."
drive. I drive everywhere.
Driving this-
I love driving. Rachel, her least favorite. She will tell you this. Her least favorite adult activity is driving. So she is waiting on the self-driving car revolution. Until that happens, I, who happen to enjoy driving and I love cars, I'm like, this is great fun. Okay, I'll drive. So I drive us everywhere.
John?
Me, I am in the same boat kind of as Matt, where Heather doesn't love to drive and she wears glasses to see, and it's tough for her at night. She doesn't like driving at night. She can't see as well, and she's like, I hate this. It gives me headaches. She likes to relax and enjoy, and she tells me that I'm the best driver that she's ever met. So,
Whoa.
thanks, babe.
Nick also
She'll
wears
never
glasses
listen to
to
this.
see. I don't know if that affects. No? Okay.
What did you say?
Don't mind me.
Road trips.
It'll come out in the edit.
Road trips. I go about 80%. She goes about 20%. And then city driving. I do all the city driving. She just hit a pedestrian yesterday. It's a sore subject, quite literally. So she's fine.
Yes.
Still
Pedestrian's
talking
fine.
to the lawyers about that.
So
Guys, this podcast is so revealing.
yeah. So
Eric's not able to comment until after the legal.
Next question.
I can't legally
lawsuit.
comment on that thing. But
Turn that part of this podcast
all right, I've
off.
got four married guys here. When is y'all's wedding anniversary? John?
June 18th, 05. I celebrate
March
every
31st.
month, actually. But I'm the numbers guy. I know how many months I've been married.
We got
March
married
August
3 days before
31st,
Christmas.
2007.
Ooh.
August 4th, 2013.
3 days before Christmas.
What
2013.
year? Oh.
Easy to remember. And anniversaries, we'll just celebrate Christmas. It's fine. Yeah, it's great. Love you. It's great.
Oh, you guys, y'all needed to get some brownie points with the wives. So
172 months. That's this month for me.
Everybody
Just so you know.
knows I don't have brownie points with my wife now.
how? Yeah, Eric kind of messed that one up.
I threw her under the bus. I mean, she threw.
that low hanging fruit.
Couldn't not take that one.
Oh boy.
Guys, I'm drinking out of a Venture Workshop cup. Are we? How many? Are we all visiting them in May?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be there.
You'll have to wait. You'll have to wait and see for me and Nick.
Yeah, is Nick? Nick didn't come last time. Is he allowed?
I
don't
didn't
know if
come
he was
either.
banned or what. But your wife
I
was
mean-
there, so
I assume that that John would have to like sit out this year, and then I would get to go. But I don't think that wish got.
I would prefer that.
That sounds like a great
Why
idea.
could it be like that? I can sit out if you guys don't want to see me. It's fine. I can hang out
We'll
with my
take
family.
do we need to take a
you
Facebook
can
poll?
go on a cruise. You can go on a cruise, and I'll go.
The group
It's
should
true.
decide though. Should Nick or John be the one that attends Venture? And
Why
let
do
the
we have
group
to have
decide.
an or?
Guys,
Should Nick
we
or
need to
John,
put
or
it to
should
the
Nick
people.
and John?
We need to put
Let's
it to
do
your
an or
constituents.
and situation. John, Nick, both. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I would rather it be an and situation.
all right.
Thanks,
we
buddy.
won't do the Facebook poll.
Eric Floberg's teaching this year, right?
You cut out. I didn't hear anything you just said.
You're teaching, right?
Eric Floberg's teaching this year, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm emceeing and teaching.
Oh man,
It's gonna be fun.
Famous.
pressure's on.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. I'm last minute with my lesson plans. So
You're
don't
not
worry,
as
I
last
think
minute
they
as
early
gave
May,
you
don't worry.
enough time.
yeah,
doesn't
it's
matter.
still like 7 months away, 8 months away. I'll figure out a way to
We got
procrastinate.
time.
Eric's like, I'll start writing those at the end of April.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, guys. We got anything else to talk about?
Oh, is that it? Are you done?
I'm open to suggestions. What was I supposed to write a script for this?
I don't know. I thought you sent one to Eric earlier.
Yeah, they sent it to me. I read right off of it.
I mean, I think that this has been fun. We did not want to have like a 1 year, we're going to be nailing down this topic kind of podcast. We just wanted to kind of look back, celebrate, talk a little bit with some of our favorites. Again, they couldn't be here. So thanks, Matt, and thanks, Eric, for sure for being on.
Filling in.
You know, we really, it's just one of those things for us where it's like I text Nick once a week or so, like, is this real life? You know, and so
It's true, he does.
The fact that you guys are all friends at this point, and it's like looking forward to the next time to get to see everybody. Just so excited to do this podcast, and like, it's just one of those deals for me where it's just like I'm super humbled as always, super grateful for the community, and we are so excited about year 2 and year 3 and doing this, and it's We're not going anywhere, and we're so excited to offer this, podcast to the listeners for free moving forward, and just can't wait to see what happens next. Nick, what about you, my friend, my BGB, my best good buddy? That's what we call each other now.
I don't know if I've ever called you my best good buddy. I think you call me, but I would be.
No, you did at the beginning of the last episode.
That's right. I did, and I don't think it will have aired yet. Maybe I
thought it aired this week.
What did you just ask me?
I don't know.
Man, whenever we don't have an outline here, it's kind of tough. But
Nick, do you have anything to reference off of John's comment about how far this podcast has come in a year?
I really am amazed by it. I know that John and I say it all the time. Like we're just two guys that started a podcast that people listen to, that they like, and it's just ridiculous to us in the best possible way that has happened. And we want to continue providing this resource. We want to continue to help and educate people and be there, because for so many of John's been in it for 13 years. I've been in it for 7. We have experience, and we want to share that with other people so that they don't have the same struggles that we have had. We've actually recently we gave away a mentor session, and we had people kind of fill out why you want a mentor session. And there are several of people that said, I filmed my first wedding, but I felt comfortable because of your podcast. It's like I walked in and I knew what to expect because of this podcast. And that's the kind of stuff that really, motivates us to continue to go on and to put out content that is very helpful to people that are just starting, but also people that have been in it for, 7, 8, 10 years as well.
Yeah, I think that's the strong suit that y'all really landed in, and it was a perfect time for the industry to have something like this kind of come along and really have that, hold that space for those newcomers to come along and be safe and asking questions and being vulnerable and having a desire to grow and to learn. And you guys and everyone that's come on the podcast in the last year, y'all have all worked together in that collaboration to build that community. So it's really kind of it's an entire community event, and you guys are holding this space for us to come and share kind of y'all's talents and y'all's the lessons y'all have learned. So.
Wow, such a fun 1-year anniversary episode. We just wanted to say thank you to the thousands of listeners out there all around the world that make this possible. We love building community, and we love bringing you this podcast, and we cannot wait for the years to come giving you this information.
Be sure to visit howtofilmweddings.com. On our website, you'll be able to download any of our digital products. You can sign up to have a mentor session with us. We also have some pretty sweet merch that you might want to check out. Also, join our Facebook group. Just go to facebook.howtofilmweddings.com. That'll take you straight to our Facebook group. Join the conversation. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Share this video with someone that you know will enjoy it. If you're listening on a podcast catcher, just leave us a review, rate us so that others can find us. And until next time, we will see ya.